Donnie and Dolly. The team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Kopitar knocked down a pass, takes a shot, changeup just missed. Simmons after the puck. Smith shoots. Great save, Luongo! Ryan Smith had the game's second goal on his stick, and Luongo miraculously snatched it away.
That was great. Outstanding. Roberto Luongo night at Rogers Arena. It's Roberto's Florida Panthers taking on the Vancouver Canucks, his old team, at Rogers Arena tonight. And joining us now to talk about Roberto Luongo and about what he's up to these days, longtime NHL play-by-play broadcaster Jim Hughson. How are you doing, Jim? Long time no talk to you.
Yeah, I've been good. Good to talk to you both.
Great save, Luongo. That phrase, so simple. Was that just something that happened, Jim, and it became a part of what you were up to?
I guess I've never been one. When I was working, I was never one for signature calls. I just thought I didn't like that. I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to be known for a single call. But in this case, he just lent itself to that. There was a great save, Luongo, every 10 minutes. It seemed when he played, and I guess people started to like it, and I just stuck with it. So it sort of connected us over that period of time. But it was amazing how often it happened when he was playing in Vancouver.
What's going to go through your mind tonight when you see his name unveiled in the Canucks Ring of Honor, Jim?
No, I think it's just cool. Good for him. You know, it marks a really interesting period in the Vancouver Canucks history. They were a good team. And as much as people on the West Coast complain, and they always do, about the hockey team and how bad it's been, there was a period of time where there was about a 10 to 15 year period where we were blessed with really good hockey teams. All the time that the Sedins were around, even just before that, from 2000 to around about 2012, there was not much to complain about. And one of the only things that seemed to be missing in the early part of that was goaltending and a star goaltender. And I think we all know that position doesn't mean just a little bit, it means everything in hockey. And if you build out the middle, you need the star defenseman, and the Canucks had that. You need the star forwards, and the Canucks had that. They didn't have the superstar in goal until they got Roberto Luongo. So to recognize him for that period of time is kind of cool, because it brought an awful lot of entertainment to the people on the West Coast that watched the hockey team, and he was so central to those good teams.
Jim, we haven't seen it since, and I don't think we've seen it before, but when he got named captain, Luongo did, what went through your mind? Like, what did you think of that?
I just thought mistake.
Yeah.
Shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
Everybody knew he was part of the leadership group. Everybody knew his influence on the team. But also, I think we all knew that just in hockey, it's never worked, it doesn't work, and it didn't work. It was, and especially for a guy like Roberto, who was, he'd wear all of the team's problems. He wore them terribly uncomfortably, I think. And so to have him have to address that every day was a bit too much. I mean, there was some good games in there, some good times in there when the team was good. So it wasn't all problematic. But it's just one of those things in hockey that we all know it doesn't work for a goaltender to be captain, and it didn't work here. And it's a good thing that they abandoned it. But I think for a period of time, it put him in a pretty uncomfortable position.
Canucks Ring of Honor, Jim. It's got 8 now in there. We have this discussion all the time. Tony Tanti, for me, belongs in there, Jim. Is there anyone you can think of that could go next? Like, is there a name for a blast from the past?
Wow. Catching me by surprise. I haven't really thought about it, Rick. I just think that I think they've done a really good job with the people that they've named so far. And Oh boy, so I go back into the '70s, and I love all those guys. I think they all should be
Yeah.
there. You know, I'm such a fan, and I'm such a fan of not just the players but the people. So yeah, it's a difficult question for me to answer. I don't think anyone. Yes, maybe there have been some omissions, but that can be looked after over a period of time. And despite the fact that we all make fun of the time that Vancouver has been in the National Hockey League, and outsiders will make fun of the teams that have been out here. There have been some really, really good players and some really good people involved that should be recognized, and for the most part, I think have been.
Yeah, I loved Bobby Schmutz. I know he didn't spend a long time with the Canucks. Yeah, the late great Bobby Schmutz. I was there one night when he scored 4 goals, and I just absolutely adore him.
Donnie, you appreciate this. I go out to I'm an associate member of the Canucks alumni, and so I go to their golf tournaments, and we have so many of them that come up and join us at the BC Hockey Hall of Fame in Penticton, and they're just great guys. It's just one thing about the hockey world that I love is there's so many good people involved in it. And, whether it's Harold Sneps and John Grisdale traveling together and playing golf or having a coffee with Stan Smeal, there's so many good people that played the game and played the game at a really high level. And they're just because they don't play anymore doesn't mean they're not great people anymore.
We miss you on the air. Jim, how much do you miss your old job, and what are you up to these days?
You know what? I think for me anyway, when you make that decision, there's a finality to it. And I love the game, and I still watch a lot because I'm quite interested. I have a real passion for the game. I don't. The beauty is now that when it's a really crappy game, I turn it off. I don't have to stick with it anymore and find out what the power play is doing or who's penalty killing and that sort of thing. And I don't miss the travel. No, I made a conscious decision and I made the right decision, and I'm very, very comfortable with it.
Okay, so you mentioned you turn off the television when it's a crappy game. I'm guessing when it comes to the Canucks, you haven't done that a lot this year. What do you think? What do you think about the way they're playing so far this season?
Everything starts in goal for me, and that I'll tell you what, it's a bonus in the National Hockey League when you get a backup goaltender that wins as much as Casey DeSmith has. You get and now the sample size is large enough. We're getting pretty close to the halfway mark of the season, and there doesn't appear to be a letting up or a change here. So I really like what I see. And if you think about where they were at last year, and it all started for me right at the start of the season when Thatcher Demko wasn't playing very well, and then he got hurt, and that to me was largely the undoing of the team. And you could still see though that they had so many integral parts that were pretty good. They had JT Miller and they had Brock Besser, who had his struggles at times, but they had Elias Pettersson and they had Quinn Hughes on defense. And now they've got those things, but they've also got goaltending. So I think the eye test tells me that while the shooting percentage may be a little higher than the analytics people would say is sustainable, this is a pretty good team and really entertaining to watch. I'm quite enjoying it.
This show wasn't going that well until you came on it. Great save, Hughson.
Yeah.
Thanks for this. Thanks for this, Jim. Merry Christmas. All the best.
Good to talk to you both.
You bet.
Yeah.